says it in the title, doesn't it? Grimsby. Everything's closing down, everything's going out of business. No one cares about the place anymore. There's no jobs. The thing that pisses me off is I've just been lobbed off the dole, and I'm probably one of the only people that are looking for a job on the dole.
Yeah. There is a lot of people on the dole who are actually actively seeking work, but
sort of smackers that piss me off.
there's a lot of people who just abuse the system so they can get away with not doing fuck all and getting paid for it. I mean, I know people who have left jobs because they get more money.
They get paid more, yeah, on the dole.
On the dole.
People with a lot of kids get paid more on the dole than they do if they work.
It's just
so a lot of people
morally
are pointless
wrong, though, isn't it? You don't want to live that idea.
And the only sort of way around it is through agencies as well. You never know if you're going to get a day's work in a week.
I know people who've gone into agency and then got employed by the company and then they've moved on and now they're earning shit.
But then again, the only reason they do that is because they either know someone that works there, they recognise them, or they get to know someone that someone say, oh, yeah, I like him, I'm going to have him on my line today. The rest of you can go home.
I don't like you, so just because of personal preference.
6 in the morning, biking to work, getting there and getting sent home, it's not fucking good, is it, really?
Fuck that.
It's not what you want.
When I left school, jobs were 10 a penny. Most sons followed their fathers either onto the docks or into the fishing trade, so jobs were plenty.
My grandfather used to be a fisherman in Grimsby, and you look at the docks, how it was even 40, 50 years ago, and you couldn't see the sea, you couldn't see the water for the amount of ships that were there. But now, lucky if there's 1 or 2 ships in the dock. I mean, everybody knew somebody who worked on the docks at some point, but the fishing heritage that the Grimsby area had also drove that strong sense of community and gave Grimsby an identity.
I can remember going back to my teenage years, my parents ran a club which was a dockers club, and they used to come home at the weekend and they would always be dressed very smart when they came to the club. Men were always in suits, the ladies were all dressed up.
I think Grimsby gets the most stick for it though, because at one point there was a fucking lot of jobs here with the fish industry and stuff. I think that's why they get a lot of stick for it, because at one point there was so many jobs, and now if you go to the docks it's pretty much a deserted town. Same as Fremo, it used to be massive markets, a lot of shops. Now it's just all boarded up places, shut down shops.
Freeman Street was a very busy place. It must be about probably a quarter of a mile long, and every shop filled and thriving. They did have a shopping centre, but it wasn't undercover, and in the early 90s that changed and it became an indoor shopping centre, which I think probably was the decline of Freeman Street, because people could get everything they wanted and stay warm and dry, so shops started to close in Freeman Street. It's like a ghost town now. Shops all boarded up, places vandalised, and it's such a shame, because it used to be such a busy, bustling place with the market. I think we went out with a £5 and that got us a few drinks in town at the Friar Tuck, and then we went on to Tiffany's, that got us into the nightclub, a few drinks there, scampi in a basket, and then a taxi home. So it was quite a good night for £5.
I think back to when we used to have the Humber Bridge Marathon, we used to get half a town turning out, or the Hospital Carnival that used to be on People's Park. Again, it was heaving with people. Everybody used to come, and you used to know everybody. You knew your neighbours, you knew people in the street. Now, you don't seem to see anything like that. And I think that's the thing with this transient population, you don't get the communities or that sense of community spirit that you used to get. So I think that's one thing that's changed.
River Edge used to be a decent place. It used to be alright.
Yeah, there was Walkabout, then that changed to LA's. There was Musica, well there was Fuse, and then that changed to Musica, and then after that it changed to LA Rock. There was Chicago at the end, and that changed to Shooters, that closed down. No, Chicago Rock, what it was at the end. Yeah.
But they all went shit.
All boarded up now, all fucking gone. Oh, there was Yates's as well at the end, and that changed to Mr. Jones.
Like, when they first opened, it was a new place, all new and everything, boom, banging.
Everyone had their own places to go.
Yeah, but like, you went there, it was all shit on that, and then after a bit, it just like, well, it's a bit dingy in here, a bit grimy in here.
Back to the same old routine.
Yeah,
Lloyd's, LA, Lloyd's Secrets or whatever.
Made it switch it up a bit.
It
was the same thing. Every time you go into a place down the river, it was the same thing in each place.
Yeah.
So it was like, why not
Just got
stay in
dearer
one place?
as you went down.
Yeah, why not stay in one place? Why not just stay here?
Got more
It's exactly the
expensive,
same
didn't
thing. You got spare time?
Yeah. Every time spare time for me.
Try and enjoy everything that Grimsby has to offer, which is fuck all, except there's some good ganja going around.
I think probably most of the problems in Grimsby is to do with drugs.
It was just a haven for drug taking and vandalism.
Drugs are the fucking main thing man here, but they're still bad.
Drugs are, I mean, people our age, it's pretty much 90% of people our age.
Drugs are no friends.
Are doing drugs, or selling drugs, or know people who are selling or doing drugs or whatever.
And I think that's probably the biggest impact on the town, really, or on society in general, because it just takes away any reasoning with people. There's no morals. People just want things, and they take things to get it, with no thought of anybody's feelings or how they cope afterwards, if they've been burgled or mugged. It probably happens worse in big cities, but I suppose in a smaller town it has a bigger impact. I guess I've always stayed in Grimsby for family reasons. If it hadn't have been for family, I'd have probably moved away a long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah. If I had the opportunity to leave, I'd leave now. Just because there's no opportunities here, and it's gradually getting worse. The only way is to get out, and it's not just Grimsby; it's everywhere.
Talking about this town, it feels. I feel like I should be able to pull it up and say, yeah, Grimsby's wonderful, it's got so much to offer. I don't know, TVs, internet, Xboxes, PlayStations, whatever. We just tend to come home from work and shut the door and shut the world out. And our own world is now what goes on within these four walls. Maybe that's where we're at. Grimsby, to me, is still a very backward town.
There's just so many layers of respect that have gone, that it makes it quite an unpleasant town to live in.
It's known as one of the most deprived areas in the UK.
Everybody seems so lost, and it's just hard getting back that respect that people have for the town, I suppose.